handle all those Florida jokes like a champ, Devin.
No, it doesn't
I
bother
love
me.
it. Yeah. Sorry.
It doesn't bother me at all. It's better than Georgia jokes.
I guess.
He can, because we're making fun of Florida, and he's like, well, I'm going to go to the beach later. What are you doing, suckers?
Exactly.
Going tomorrow.
So jealous.
All right, hit it off, Mario. I got to go hang out with my kids.
Let's do it. Well, welcome back to the Plant Nerd Podcast. I'm your hostess mostess, Mario Camardella, and I'm with three other plant nerds. The OG plant nerd himself, Devin Swerk from Florida, Tallahassee, North Florida. Amazingness. Great to have you back. And the millennial maven makeover princess herself. I'm going to give you princess status, Michelle. And then we have Kata, the queen of perennials. Yes, you're back to queen status. Michelle, princess. Devin, you're still the pauper at the OG Florida.
That's fine.
We're great. We're back to the Plant Nerd Podcast. Let's go. What's growing on, people? Devin, you start. What is growing on with you?
Well, I got my second Mangave garden finished last week, so I'm excited about that.
So am I.
And then, yes, thank you. And then I've got to fertilize my vegetable garden this weekend, so that's about it. And make sure the deer haven't eaten anything, because I've been fighting the deer.
What are you fertilizing with?
Just some organic garden tone.
What are you growing?
I've got a bunch of broccoli. I've got Brussels, sugar snaps, carrots, garlic, lettuce, spinach. I think that's it. Oh, and strawberries.
You're a big fan of broccoli.
I love broccoli. I've got like 5 or 6 beds of it. I would say half the vegetable garden is broccoli.
Now, are you good at the things that you grow?
Yeah, I've gotten good at growing this stuff. I've tried growing cauliflower multiple times, but I can't ever get the head not to rot. It gets like almost perfect, and then it rots out in the middle. So I've given up.
Yeah, I can't either.
I wonder if that is because you are just slightly too hot. Like you just.
Yeah, I think it may be that. But I mean, in the winter, I can grow. Once my broccoli's done, I just rip it out and plant more, and you can grow pretty much all winter down there. So because it doesn't really get super duper cold.
And I see you already have like all your lemons and limes.
Yes, they're coming in. I harvested my first bucket of citrus, bunch of lemons and limes. So
don't ever be afraid to send them up my way.
I know. I'll send some all out
for them good cocktails.
Yes.
If you give me a bunch, I'll make limoncello for everyone.
Okay.
Whoa.
The lemons are getting close. I was just able to pick a few. The limes are mainly ready right now, but then it's usually lemons, and then the oranges and grapefruits will roll in, and so.
Okay, how do you know when they're ripe? Because I feel like they change colors, but is that what is that what the
So it's changing colors, and then you have to go out and squeeze them. So if they're like super duper hard still, they're not ready, but you want to be a little soft.
I love it. We need to add this to the Only Plants
a little
podcast.
soft. Because citrus, when you pick it, it's not like a tomato where you can pick it early and it'll continue to ripe. Once you pick citrus, it's done. It won't harvest. It won't ripen anymore.
That is so interesting. I did not know that.
So
obviously,
you're looking
being from Austria, never
nerd.
life.
That's nerd.
Okay,
that's nerdery.
Nerdery.
So, yeah, I'm excited. I love my citrus. So hopefully it doesn't get cold this winter because I don't want to have to move them in the garage. It is a lot of work.
So what's the temperature you flag for moving in the garage?
So, like for most people, like not in North Florida, I usually tell everyone if you're like in Atlanta or even more north, if you're growing it in a container, when it starts getting in the upper 30s, so like when you hit 39, that's when I move it in. But for me in Florida, since mine are older and bigger, they gradually go down. So like if it gets in the 30s, they can take some frost. If it gets below freezing, I'll cover them with frost cloth. I have giant sheets of frost cloth I cover them with. But if it drops down to the mid 20s, that's when I move them in the garage.
Okay.
So
well,
it's usually 1 week.
You just won some plant nerd points with that. I learned a few bits myself. Michelle, we're going to the millennial makeover maven herself. What's going on with you?
So I've been doing a lot of Googling because, as you guys might know, I have a new puppers, and she has started eating some things, which, is okay. And she's not a digger, but I'm still trying to figure out how to either like section off parts of the garden that I just don't need, extra landscaping help with, because I think she tries to help me, and it's just not great. So I've been just
It's
doing
not
a lot of
helpful.
Googling. No, it's not. It's not. And like there's chipmunks that help in the garden too, which is also not helpful. So I don't know, for those of us with dogs, kind of what you do.
So the one thing that I learned, so I had a different house in Durham that I rented, and we got a puppy, and it was very rectangular. And typical Austrian landscape styles, you make your beds along the fence kind of thing. That was the worst. Somebody, and I don't remember who told me that, but like, if you have dogs, make much more like island beds in the middle of the garden, because they will run around. Like, dogs are trained to run along the fence. So like having beds in the middle of the garden actually really, really helps. And so when we moved 2 or 3 years ago, we started doing that, and it is amazing. Like, she really doesn't step as much in those beds as she does the ones that are on the fence,
That makes a
which is
lot
our
of
vegetable
sense.
garden. So
Yes.
I
that's
Mhm.
never really
absolutely
thought of that.
yeah, it's really, I don't remember who told me that, but it was the best advice I've ever gotten is, if you have dogs, no beds along the fence, make them in the middle of the garden, just like islands or, circles, whatever. Has been really great. And I have a husky, so they're like known for being digging dogs. And I mean, she even stopped that after a while. Just keep her entertained running and not digging.
Got
One
it.
thing that I did at my parents' yard, it's not the prettiest, but like if I planted like a 3-gallon shrub or some perennials or stuff like that, just to get the dogs from running over it until they grow up and get big enough, is just stick a tomato cage over it. And then once it gets big enough and the dogs aren't going to really like trample it or anything, then I just take the tomato cage out.
That's a great idea. That probably helps for a lot of other things too.
Yeah.
Something that helps with small children and dogs, not cats or squirrels, is a simple rope fence. Sometimes you can put like a metal stake, have like a little ornamental, and then really just do kind of like a binder's twine, or more of like a almost like a nautical rope, little braided rope, to kind of section off. And it's just enough so that it's a little bit of a deterrent. So I always found that in public, certainly in public stuff, that is anything to guide people where you want them to go, and dogs included.
And not to change the topic drastically, but you said cats, and that reminded me, my cats love to eat Nepeta. Like, and until it's,
yeah.
I have to put like a little dollar store basket on top of it or something, because they will just go to town.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
I
I do
that.
feel like it's really something you have to kind of think about with dogs and cats and kids, all the same category to me. Is like, what type of plants do you have in there? And I do think that people are so freaked out about poisonous plants for dogs, poisonous plants for kids. Like, I grew up with the epitome of plant nerd in this world. Like, we had convallaria all over the place, where really, like, a leaf can kill a kid. Like, he just taught us that this is not what you do. But I also think with dogs, it's sometimes absolutely overrated when they get so anxious about having the wrong plant in their garden. Like, I'm not a veterinarian, obviously, but like, it takes a lot for a dog to die of something, and they will learn. Like, my dog, we have all kinds. I've never looked up a single thing. My dog is totally fine. I think, is like hydrangeas one of the things that they say you shouldn't have with dogs?
We should do a whole episode. Yeah, we should do a whole episode just on toxic plants and, kids, cats, dogs.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be a good time to get a guest speaker too. Maybe a veterinarian.
That would be great. Yeah, maybe we learn something instead of just being like, yeah, dog hasn't died yet. Good luck with yours.
Learn the tough way.
All right. Well, we'll end that for another future episode.
Yeah.
Kato, I see moving boxes behind you. Where are you going?
Well, it's starting slowly to happening. So we are moving back to Austria. I still have a couple of months, but I am actually going there next week. So next week you will see me in a totally new base in Austria. I have to sign some paperwork and actually also meet with my dad's team. They usually stop working during the winter because you know, that winters are different in Austria. We grow exclusively outside there. So yeah, it's gonna be an exciting couple of days there. But it's a quick trip, 5 days, and then I'll have about 3.5 more months here. But yeah, I am kind of starting to pack up on the weekends and we ship slowly. It's really crazy and exciting.
So is that how you're gonna move? You're just gonna like ship it via like whoever, like
Yeah.
boxes, not necessarily like a whole container thing.
Yeah, no, we don't have that much for a whole container, but like, so okay, shipping aside, this is just boring stuff. Nobody needs to know about that. But it has been so difficult, like, because my husband and I are such plant nerds. Our garden is like so plant nerdy. Like, he started this Bach garden, and I'm like, nobody's gonna give us more money for a house because we have this cute Bach garden. We need hydrangeas and hollies and whatever people see as value added to a house. And not this, like, what else do we have? Like, we have this like really rare like new shit. I'm totally blanking on the name. Wow, great. What is the common name, the botanic name for the corpse flower? Devin? Plant nerd? Come on.
Oh, now you're getting me. I don't remember that one.
Titanum is the species.
Titan rum.
It's not arum. Anyway, we have a really rare like species of what is also the corpse flower, and it's like we have this weird plant now that is beautiful, but like nobody else will think it's beautiful and great.
I'll come
So
get
it's
it.
been. Say what?
I said
Well,
I'll come get it.
So you're
I
writing a
know,
book
but this
on
is like
what
the
do you
thing.
do with your garden when you move, right?
Exactly, it's
There-
difficult.
so
Like
are you selling your material? Like, because Devin's
our
coming over, I think he's just he's
ready.
in his mind he's
Bring my
gassing up the
shovel.
truck.
But
Yeah.
it's so, I really will say I struggle like mentally so much with that because like I know I'm moving and that is great. But I don't want to live in this boring yard for the last 4 months. But also our realtor came and she was like, yeah, you need grasses, hollies, azaleas, make it picture perfect. People don't want to see a complicated garden. But I'm really struggling. Like, it really makes me so sad. I feel like I'm already homesick for the US doing that, but I have to give away stuff. And
Yeah.
and I have all those containers with beautiful mangaves. I'm like, I really should have given them to somebody in summer when they could still enjoy them. But I didn't want to because I wanted to enjoy them. And it still gives me like this little happiness. So yes, please come over and dig up my stuff. We are debating, like, should we do like a plant giveaway party instead of a
A dig
farewell party?
party.
Like, bring your shovel,
Yeah, that's a
bring a
dig party.
drink, get a plant. Luckily, we have a lot of horticulture friends, so it's fine. But it's been really difficult. And I think, I'm moving to Austria, which is extreme, but other people are moving in the US all the time. It's a really, like, it's a topic that a lot of people are facing. I have a friend, Susan Martin, you should also follow her, a fantastic horticulturist. She's in Michigan and she finally built her dream house. But we were talking, like, how do you even, it's just a couple of miles down the street, but how do you manage it to dig up all your plants, have them in pots, and replant them at the new house? Like, there is a lot of challenges with that. And what do you leave behind? When does it not make sense to move something? But how do you then manage that garden that it looks even nice with the stuff that you leave, and it's not just like, oh yeah, here's this one weird thing that you left behind. So yeah,
Yeah, I
facing a
had
lot
like
of challenges. I
I had
definitely
the
think
similar
if
thing.
anybody has comments for me, leave them below because I would love to hear them, or encouraging words of how it is okay to leave plants behind. I can use some hearts.
Yeah. I had the similar thing because, I bought my house in Tallahassee and I've, worked in my parents' yard up here in Atlanta for like over 20 years. So like I have all kinds of plants there and everything. And I mean,
But you
I've
get to go
transplanted.
see them and visit.
Yeah, well, and I've also transplanted some stuff like that I wanted to move, and they're actually getting ready to sell their house.
Oh
So
no.
that's going to be hard when they sell that house, and it's like I won't be able to go back to it because like all my Ito peonies are up there, and it's too hot in Florida for peonies, and so I can't move them, and that's like one of the biggest plants that I'm just like, oh.
But hopefully that is a plant that somebody will really appreciate.
Yeah,
Like,
well, it's kind of cool because some of those Itos I got a long time ago from one of my friends. She moved from her house to Louisiana, and they wouldn't grow down there, and she had me come over to her house and dig up like five. Those were my first 5 Ito peonies. Were from her. So,
that's cool.
but when they move, I'll dig those up and move those to whatever house they move to up here. But yeah, I mean, it's like you got to kind of people never think about the yard when you move. Like you got to move
No.
plants, and movers don't want to move plants. Like when I moved, they were like, nope, they're not moving plants. You got to move it yourself. So, yeah, you don't want to hear about my plant moving story down to Florida. That was a fun thing.
Well, maybe this is good for me. Like, I'm not even allowed to bring anything to Europe. So,
Yeah.
like, at least I don't have to make the decision what to move or not. But
Yeah,
it's pretty sad. Like, yeah.
it is hard.
It is
And
really
there's
hard.
some areas of the yard where it's so rooty I can't dig the stuff up. So I've tried to take cuttings off some like hydrangeas that aren't in production anymore and stuff like
It's a divorce, right? You put all this love into these plants. It's like a divorce from your landscape. I've experienced this. I think I got an idea for you, Kata. I think you should negotiate a visitation right when you sell the house. That you get 4 weekends a year to go enjoy the seasons.
Come to the US and just sit in my garden.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be fine. I think, I honestly, like, especially with, I finally remembered the name. Amorphophallus. Amorphophallus is the coolest plant that we have. But yeah, I'm like, I would love for my friends to have them. I think my party idea is still the best. I want to throw a huge party, bring your shovel, take a plant, remember us. You know, it's like a funeral kind of thing, funeral from the US. But divorce sounds pretty harsh. But
it sounds better than a funeral.
Okay, well, so how about a breakup? Let's just
there we go. I like breakup.
It's the breakup, and in a way, to me, though, it's like it's the breakup of the boyfriend that I know I need to break up with, and I will be happy on the other side. But right now, I'm still very sad I have to break up with this boyfriend. Like, I know I will love my garden in Austria. I really miss growing in a cooler climate. Like, I've always struggled in the South. I'm very, very open about that. So it's the breakup with the boyfriend that I know I should have broken up with a long time ago. But it's still
But now you can also look at the opportunity of all those, like you said, all those great plants that you get to grow that you can't grow in the Southeast. So
okay, we need to break back up. Like what's blooming? What are we excited about? Okay, Kata, you can sit this one out. Maybe what is the one plant in Austria you're excited to see? So let's bring it back up. Let's bring it come back from plant joy.
I am actually, so one of the plants that is blooming right now in my garden here that I will also be able to grow in Austria is Tressurtis. No idea what the common name is. Do you know, Devin?
Toad lily.
I don't know.
No. Devin, we need
Toad
to
lily,
demote your
yes.
plant nerd.
Lily.
Toad lily. So beautiful, so underrated. Like fantastic flowers in the middle of fall. You know, people love orchids. Look at the orchid that Michelle drew behind her. I mean, it's gorgeous. So, like, people love orchids. Why not have toad lilies? Tressurtis, so easy to grow. Takes a while. They hate being in a pot. So if you go to a garden center, they might not look the best in a pot, but like you will love them. So that's my top choice for the week. Michelle, how about you?
What you got?
Okay, this one's new to me, but last year I planted Pearl Glam Beautyberry, which is has those full purple berries, and it has a darker leaf. And now this is the first year that I have those purple berries in the garden, so I'm really excited about it.
That was my first shrub I ever bought 2 years ago. I've never had a shrub in my garden, and that was the first one. Yeah, it's actually a breeding program of NC State. And so I was like excited to get that. It's an Approved Winners program, I think, but it is so gorgeous right now. Oh, it is. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Big fan of Beautyberry. Have anybody made the jam? Are you going to make the jelly?
You can make jelly?
You make jelly? I thought that's poisonous, that thing.
Well, you gotta cook it. If you feed them raw, it's poisonous. But once you cook it, you can make a jam out of it.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch you first do that.
We can do a live taste test. I'll try.
You can taste everything once.
Yeah,
I also have
no, some sort of jelly jam, and it doesn't retain the color, right?
No, yeah,
Them-
it won't keep the color. It'll turn. It's not like it's like a blue. It's a dark purpley color, but it's not like that iridescent purple color. It's like
right.
a jam color. I mean, it's like that dark color, not like raspberry where it's red.
Would it so? I also have one that is it's more of a chartreuse light green leafed one with like super nice pink berries. Do you think the pink berries would keep it better? Would it
I don't know.
not?
I think you'd want to use just the straight species to make the jam out of, like, even Pearl Glam. I don't even know if it's been messed with, and
You don't trust it?
I don't trust it. I'm not making pokeberry tea over here.
Yeah, we should all post on our Instagrams the pictures of all the plants that we're talking about right now.
I have the best video of Perry and I on a hiking trail, and I go, we see some beautyberry, and I go, you thinking what I go, you see what I'm saying? And then she goes, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Oh gosh, all right, we'll edit that piece out, but it is the best
No,
video.
don't,
Maybe
because I have actually the funniest story to follow. So it's called beautyberry in English, right?
Yeah, like common.
So the German common name translated is actually called love pearls.
Love pearls.
I definitely think English is a little bit more appropriate.
So that leads there to our last topic. Do we need to get into only plants segment where we really explore the sexual side of the plant world in this only plant
we'll
segment?
always have a fun fact. Every episode, we just come up with something fun. Love pearls. I do not think that they work, but I'm not going to volunteer to try.
Let's save that for another episode. Devin, what's blooming in your neck of the woods?
I mean, I don't know about what's blooming, but I'm really excited all my citrus is coming in. It is awesome. I mean, there's nothing better than, like, when I'm cooking and I need a lemon, you just go outside, you just pick a lemon right off the plant and chop it up and squeeze it on some broccoli on the grill. It's the best.
Ooh.
So my citrus is all coming in. I'm really excited about it. I had a good harvest this year. I was a little worried with the hurricane that blew through that I was going to lose a lot of fruit when I had to flip it over, but they held on good. So yeah, nice. I'm just excited. It's fall. It's citrus time. Usually Thanksgiving is like peak crop. So.
Well, I'm excited to try that limoncello that Mario.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
With a little bit of lemon jelly.
Oh, good.
It's so strong. You're going to love it. So we're going to talk about a few episode ideas, and then hopefully we can reach out to the community to get some more. So we talked about toxicity. We want to, kind of explore that a little deeper. A lot of sexual innuendo with only plant episode. This is our only fan knockoff. What other, do we have any, like, anything, what other ideas we got rolling around?
I definitely think that eventually we should also get a little deeper into the whole composting thing. Mm-hmm. Another one, maybe we bring somebody in. And obviously I want to talk more about traveling and plants. But I think that just happens oftentimes anyway whenever I travel. And I'm excited to show you a nicer background of Austrian nursery.
Awesome.
Cold prep will be another good one to do once we get a little bit closer.
Soil prep.
Everybody needs to get ready for, getting their plants through the cold seasons. Because we don't want another winter like last winter. No.
Oh God, it was terrible.
Really was. Michelle, any other topic ideas for next couple weeks?
I'm sure we
do we want to do like favorite evergreens, or how you incorporate like what's still looking good when things turn brown? I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because when I do design, like, I always try to make sure that I have something evergreen around and not all deciduous stuff because
And
it
I
looks
think this
awesome in the
is
spring, but then in the winter it's like, ooh.
it's a
Mm.
really, really important topic for all the people that move from north to south. Because like me coming from Austria to here, I never understood the importance of evergreens because in Austria it just everything is that. Then when you have snow, then you don't have snow. It's okay to have structure, but like evergreens are a really important thing for the south. So I think that will be a fantastic topic to talk more about. I'll be very quiet during that episode.
And we can get like your tips too, Mario. Like, is it towards the front of the bed, towards the middle, the back? Like, where do you stick them? A short one of like, or favorites, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been using a lot of fun evergreens even in annual beds now. The idea of basically you can add some juniper in there for now, and then you can move it later, or you can kind of
Yeah.
keep it if you're never going to do it. So, yeah, I can share some fun things that I'm working with, and then also with evergreens, really looking at live Christmas trees this winter. So, how can I
that'd be
transition
such a
from a
cool
cut
idea.
Christmas tree, which our family loves, but then really welcome a new tradition where we're really playing with a lot of different evergreens as like the new Christmas tree for us that's live, that we can go out and plant. And then I'm already starting to think like, well, I don't want the same live Christmas tree every year because I want the diversity in my landscape. So I can show you in a few weeks what our live Christmas tree from last year looks like in the landscape and how I've kind of shaped it and pruned it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Super cool.
All right, everybody, this has been the Plant Nerd Podcast. We will see you again next week. Keep growing. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Did they say cheers in Austria?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, okay.
Cheers.
Well, how do you say cheers in Austrian?
Cheers.
Yeah.
Prost.
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 Prost. Prost.
Prost. Okay.
Yeah.
For the limoncello.
For the limoncello. Prost.
I really didn't know when things were ripe, Devin, because I've got a couple of citrus in containers, and I'm sitting here like, are you? Like,
Yeah.
you good? You need
I
You
more?
just
gotta
love
wait.
that
You
how
want it to
you
be the
did
right
this, so I
color,
was
and you
like-
want it to be because if it's rock hard, it's not gonna be good. So.
I'm
It's
just
never
like,
gonna
this
turn,
is
right?
the only plant.
I just
No.
I like picturing you going out in your garden, just finding the right one.
Oh, you should see me pollinate when they used to be in the greenhouse when they were up here in Atlanta, and I have to go through the greenhouse because they'd all flower in the winter. I'd have to go through with a paintbrush, and we could do a whole. I could do a whole episode on citrus. Like, we'll just have to. I'll do it from. I'll have to be down in Florida and do it in my yard and like show. But like, I could do a whole episode. I'd love to do a whole episode on citrus.
One of the things, hey, do a segment, like just record yourself doing it,
Okay.
and then we can weave it in.
Yeah, because I mean,
There we
there's
go.
like care, like when you move it in, a lot of people overwater it. I mean, that's why I have so many, because when I worked at Pikes, like people would kill them. Well, they wouldn't really kill them; they'd overwater them, and they'd be sticks, and they'd bring them back because they thought I had a lifetime warranty, whatever. But I couldn't bear to throw them in the trash, so I'd bring them home and revive them. And so that's another reason why I have so many, is because I had to save all of them. I couldn't bear to throw them.
Well,
It's
that's
like
a great.
a citrus refugee camp.